Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everybody else, this is John Paval here with a weekend highlights of musical festival live streams going on this weekend, August 1st to 3rd, 2025. And we have live streams coming to you from the Lakes Area Music Festival, from the Bowdoin International Music Festival, and from the Seattle Chamber Music Society's Summer Music Fest, the world's largest chamber music party, as they tell us. Before we go any further, let me remind you, if you're watching this on Facebook, please like the video. If you're watching this on any of our other platforms, please subscribe to and or follow Access Arts Live. We're on YouTube, X, TikTok, Instagram, Threads, and LinkedIn. And with that, let us move on right away. Soon as I can get the picture up for you, to the first of this weekend's festival live streams. Friday, August 1st, the Lakes Area Music Festival live streams opera arias by singers in the Lake Area Music Festival Resident Artist Program. 5 young singers who are already taking their first steps on opera stages across the United States. Those will be soprano Sarah Rachel Bacani, Amy Guarino and Jillian Tate, mezzo-soprano Olivia Gronenthal, and tenor Jin Park Choi. Now, these are young singers who are just starting to come out of school, and they're getting their first roles at places like the Toledo Opera House, or they have won awards in those all-important opera competitions, which are the first steps up on the professional ladder for young opera singers. That'll be at 7:30 in the evening, Central Daylight Time, Friday, August 1st, which will be 8:30 in the evening on the East Coast, 5:30 on the West Coast. It will be, what time will that be? That'll be 2:30 in the morning here in Europe, and 10:30 in the morning down under in Australia, I believe. I think I've got those times right. Yeah. So if you're up for hearing some up-and-coming young artists singing opera arias, there you have it. We have 2 more live streams coming to you this weekend from 2 other music festivals. One on the East Coast, up the Bowdoin International Music Festival up in Brunswick, Maine, and then the Seattle Chamber Music Festival, which is out in Seattle, of course. So both of them, the Northeast and the Northwest United States. I'm waiting here. I'm waiting for the photo that I just tried to upload for you to actually get uploaded so I can introduce this. Let me try this another way. See if it works another way. Yeah, that way works, and we'll just remove it the other way. Here we are. Now I can do a proper announcement for you, which I always have to do. Friday, August 1st, the Bowdoin International Music Festival live streams a Mendelssohn Sonata for cello and piano, a Brahms piano quartet, and 20th century Korean composer Isang Yun's duo for cello and harp, played by musicians from the faculties of America's finest music schools and guest artists. That'll be at 7:30 on the East Coast, 4:30 on the West Coast, 1:30 in the morning here in Europe, 9:30 in the morning Australian Eastern Standard Time. Now, they'll be starting out with Mendelssohn Sonata for cello and piano number 2 in D major, opus 58. Now, that's played by the husband and wife team of cellist Edward Aaron and pianist G. Won Park. They're the co-directors of the Performing Artist in Residence series at the Clark Institute. And incidentally, they recorded Beethoven's complete works for cello and piano on the Aeolian Classics record label. He's on the faculty at the University of Massachusetts Amherst. She's more of a performer as a She's out there performing as a soloist, doing concertos and with chamber groups. Next up will then be 20th century Korean composer Isang Young's duo for cello and harp. And that'll be played by Canadian-American cellist Denise Jokic and harpist June Han. Denise is on the faculty at University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign, and she's a member of Ensemble Arts, which is a Canadian group dedicated to bringing together music, dance, and visual arts all at the same time. Pursuant to that, she once performed all of Benjamin Britten's cello suites with the Seattle Spectrum Dance Group in a production of Donald Byrd's Love. And June Han, well, she's on the faculties everywhere: Yale, Peabody, Columbia University, Juilliard Pre-College, and she does things like last week she did a Bowdoin Music Festival concert where they played Piazzolla's History of the Tango, which was originally for guitar and flute, but they did it as a violin and harp transcription. As for Isang Young, well, if you don't know him, here's what you should know about him. He composed 4 operas, 5 symphonies, 9 concertos, violin, oboe, cello, flute, clarinet, etc. He didn't start to study in the West until 1956 when he enrolled at the Paris Conservatory. He was already 39 years old. Then he went on to the Berlin Hochschule and was well on his way with a career in Germany, and his life turns into a spy novel. Gets kidnapped by the South Korean intelligence services, interrogated, tortured, accused of spying for North Korea, sentenced to death. And only an international outcry got him released and sent back to Germany. And he was an advocate of reunifying North and South Korea, which is probably what got him into trouble. But you know, many of us who believe in the performing arts do so because we believe it is a way to bring us all together rather than dividing us. Anyway, then they will finish up with a really top drawer trio playing Brahms's Piano Quartet No. 3 in C minor, Opus 60, which is the Werther trio. You know, young Werther was a hero in one of Goethe's works who threw himself to his death off a bridge when he couldn't have the woman he loved. And apparently young men all over Europe started doing the same thing in imitation of it, which is pretty grim. Anyway, playing this, they have the top Russian-American violinist Mikhail Kopelman. Kopelman started out studying at the Moscow Conservatory, ended up on the faculty there, was concertmaster at the Moscow Phil, was a member of the esteemed Borodin Quartet, and then he moves to the U.S. in 1993, and he never went back. Taught at Yale for a while, and he's now at the Eastman School of Music for the last couple of decades. Beside him is Philip Ying of the Ying Quartet, who's a violist, and they're the quartet in residence at the Eastman School, which is, I'm sure they know each other there. And Philip and his brother David are the ones directing this festival. So that's another top drawer choice. And the cellist is Edward Aaron, whom I just talked to you about. And the pianist is a collaborative piano specialist. It's Pei-Shan Lee, who virtually invented a program in collaborative piano for the New England Conservatory, and also put together a collaborative piano fellowship here at the Bowdoin Festival. And she doesn't just teach collaboration. She has worked with the Ariel, Borromeo, Formosa, Harlem, Jupiter, and Szymanowski quartets. So it's hard to see how you staff a Brahms piano trio better than this. What a lovely Bowman International Music Festival concert for you, and it's free of charge. The next concert that we have for you is later in the day, and that comes from the Seattle Chamber Music Festival out on the West Coast up there in Washington State. Let me see if I have a picture of the artist of that for you that I can show you. Yes, and I do. There they are. And it's even marked up very nicely, CMS Summerfest Artist, August 1st, 2025. Friday, August 1st, the Seattle Chamber Music Society live streams the final concert of its Summerfest, the world's largest chamber music party, with music by Joaquin Turina, Mel Bonis, Charlotte Sohy, and Franz Schubert's signature string quartet Quintet in C major. That's at 7:30 in the evening, but it's out on the West Coast. So that's 10:30 in the evening on the East Coast, 4:30 in the morning in Europe, but a lovely noontime, 12:30 p.m. down under in Australia, Saturday noon. We give you a link to how you buy your ticket. It's not free of charge. It's $36 to view this, but and this is their big finale. I got to tell you, they do state-of-the-art live streams. It's really high-quality stuff. And they've done 12 of them, all 12 of their main stage concerts over the past couple of weeks. An example to how to do really good live streaming with live interviews with musicians during the breaks between different pieces and the intermissions. And that's the way to keep people completely immersed in it rather than cutting away to recordings. Anyway, so let's talk about these different pieces. First piece is Joaquin Turina's Piano Trio No. 2 in B minor, Opus 76. A Spanish composer. He studied in Paris in the early 1900s for like 9 years, but eventually went back to find great success in Spain, playing very Spanish-flavored music. Eventually, he would end up teaching at the Madrid Conservatory and be a celebrated person in terms of Spanish national music. Musicians on this are just very top people. The pianist is Max Levinson, chairman of the piano department at Boston Conservatory and also on the faculty at the New England Conservatory. The violinist is Noah Bendix Bagley, first concert master at the Berlin Phil, also plays with the Rosamond String Quartet, which has members from the LA Phil and the New York Phil, and he plays with the multi-genre septet Philharmoniques, which has members of the Berlin and Vienna Philharmonics. Top guy. And the cellist is F.A. Baltasiegel, principal cello of the Seattle Symphony Orchestra since 2011 and Turkey's String Player of the Year in 2013. And then, after that, it's the long-standing artistic partners Tom Poster and Elena Urioste. And they'll be playing music by two French composers from the late 1800s, first half of the 20th century, Bonis and Charlotte Sohy. These two, Tom Poster and Elena, during the 2020 lockdown, they put together an award-winning live streaming series called the Uri Post Jukebox. And they're both members of the Kaleidoscope Chamber Collective in the UK, which Tom founded and directs, and which became an associate ensemble at Wigmore Hall about 5 years ago. Elena also works a lot as a soloist with orchestras and chamber music groups. They're going to play two pieces by Bonis, the Andante Religioso, Opus 78, and the Allegretto Ma non troppo, Opus 84. And then they'll play Charlotte Sohy's Thème varié, varied theme, Opus 15. I want to compare for you these two performers, and I want to show you a photograph of the two of them because it's just such an interesting pairing of two women composers from the same time period. And that's Mel Bonis on the left and Charlotte Sohy on the right. Mel Bonis was born in 1858, lived until 1937. Her full name was Mélanie Hélène Bonis, but she shortened it to Mel when she was publishing her music because there was so much bias against women composers. Her family was against her playing music at all, but she learned to play the piano, caught the attention of César Franck, and he got her into the Paris Conservatory, where she studied under him alongside people like Debussy. She went on to compose more than 300 pieces. Piano solos, organ pieces, chamber music, melodie, a mass, and works for orchestra. But her personal life is like a sad romantic novel. She falls in love with a young poet while she's at the conservatory, starts composing songs for him to his poems and all of that. And her family wouldn't have it, and they married her off to this wealthy industrialist who already had 5 children. She gives him 3 more. In terms of being a performing artist, well, that's over. She's taking care of 8 kids and having 3 of them. But she did get back to composing in the late 1890s. and eventually composed all that music. And in 1909, 1910, she composed 3 brief pieces for violin and piano, dedicating them to friends and colleagues in Paris. And you get to hear 2 of them in this concert. But by the time she died in 1937, she had problems with arthritis, which affected her playing even more. And her sort of romantic music had been left behind by musical development. So she was virtually forgotten. That's her in the picture on the left. Now, compare Charlotte Sohy, born 30 years later in 1887. She was the daughter of an industrialist, but her family they were patrons of the arts. She studied piano privately with Georges Marty, eventually got introduced to people like Mel Bonis and Nadia Boulanger. They became friends. In 1909, while Mel Bonis was writing these pieces you'll hear, Charlotte was getting married to a composer, Marcel Labbé, with whom she had 7 children. But that didn't stop her from composing. And their home became like a musical salon that everybody went to before and after World War I. So she was a hit. And she wrote masses, art songs, piano pieces, trio, string quartets, a symphony, and a lyric drama. And in 1921, she composed this Thème varié, which you get to hear. One thing the 2 women composers had in common, Charlotte Sohy, just like Mel Bonis, did not use her name Charlotte when she published music. She used her grandfather's name, Charles, because of the continuing biases against women composers. And then finally, some of the Seattle Chamber Music Society's top musicians get together to close the festival with a piece that some people consider one of the finest quintets, if not the finest quintet ever composed, Franz Schubert's String Quartet in C major, Opus 163. And on that one, let me pull up the picture of the musicians again that we have. If I can get the picture to come back on for you so you can see all of the musicians again. Where is that? Here it is. It's on that bottom line. These you could call these, all-star musicians. It's James Ennis on the violin, founder of the celebrated Ennis Quartet, director of this festival, winner of 2 Grammy Awards and 11 Juno Awards. Tessa Lark on the violin also, who got a nomination for a Grammy in 2020, playing Sky, which was a bluegrass-inspired violin concerto composed for her by Michael Tork. The violist to Joan der Hovsepian, principal viola of the Houston Symphony and artist teacher of viola at Rice University. Mark Kosovar on cello, principal cello of the Cleveland Orchestra, which is a top American orchestra, and Julie Albers on cello. She's an assistant professor at Mercer University in Macon, Georgia, at their McDuffie Center for Strings. And she also plays with the Albers String Trio and the Cortona Trio. It's a lovely way for them to send off and do a grand finale of the Seattle Chamber Music Society Summer Music Fest. It for a charge of $36 US. I can only salute the SCMS because they've just done a great series of a dozen terrific live streams, all of which had such interesting content and top musicians like the one I've just described. And then we have one more concert to tell you about, and this one will just be a lot of fun. And this one will be on Sunday. Where's the photo that I have for you for that? I think I have to go back to the Lakes Area Music Festival. I know I've got it. Yeah, okay, here's the guy. Okay. Sunday, August 1st, the Lakes Area Music Festival live streams Igor Lipinski, the Polish-born pianist, musical scholar, and magician who, following in the footsteps of that beloved theatrical pianist Victor Borgia, will play his critically acclaimed and unique mix of music and magic. And yes, that's why I have a picture of him playing the piano with a mask on, as I guess he's sometimes done, and then doing card tricks. Lipinski is a pianist. He studied at Eastman and then Northwestern's Bienen School of Music. He went on to teach at University of Tennessee, and he's now a tenured prof teaching at the University of Oklahoma. But while working on his doctorate, he became fascinated with unusual piano recitals all the way from Franz Liszt to Victor Borge. And he came up with his own unique recital, combining magic tricks with piano classics. So Sunday, he'll be playing individual movements from piano concertos by Ravel, Poulenc, Yoshimatsu, Bachevitz, Rachmaninoff, and Gershwin. And that will include Ravel's very much loved Concerto in G minor and Rachmaninoff's Paganini Rhapsody, which is just, and that will be at Sunday at 1 p.m. in the afternoon Central Daylight Time, which is 2 p.m. on the East Coast and 8 o'clock in the evening on the here in Europe. Folks, this is just a terrific weekend. And that one is free of charge too. I think it's a terrific weekend for you to enjoy all these different festivals. There will also be some organ live streams coming up on this weekend, but we will be putting up separate clips about those. I want to encourage you, if you check out any of these concerts and enjoy them or you don't enjoy them, come back to us on any of our platforms and leave a comment about it so people know. There are usually replays that are left up online, but I don't encourage people to see replays because Access Arts Live exists to promote for you and to let you know about as many opportunities as you have for being part of a live audience while the musicians are pouring out their heart, minds, and souls to inspire you or to reach you or to move you. And that's just not the same thing as, sitting down on a Tuesday afternoon or a late Thursday night and all by yourself looking at a dead recording where you're not sharing it with anybody else. There's no other audience there. The musicians are gone fishing, they're visiting family, whatever. A performance is a social event which we share. And the more people that we can get to share them, I think the better our planet's going to be. So before I sign off, let me remind you, if you're watching this on Facebook, please like the video. If you're watching this on any of our other platforms, I want to encourage you to subscribe to us and or follow us. We're on YouTube, X, TikTok, Instagram, Threads, and LinkedIn. And with that, I'll be wishing you a great weekend and hoping that one more or any of these live streams I've been talking about here uplifts you, inspires you, or just shows you a heck of a good time. And I think Lipinski on Sunday I love magic. If I'm at a party or something and a magician shows up, like sometimes they do, I start laughing the minute they walk in the door because every single move, every lift of an eyebrow, it's just hysterically funny. It's all acting. And I'm an old song and dance man actor myself. So with that, I bid you adieu for the weekend. I'll be back next Monday with our usual Monday roundup of the most interesting live streams that we have coming up. Have a great weekend, everybody.